Sometimes God takes you on a journey and it's not the one that you planned, and it doesn't look like what you thought it would look like, but it's good. We were living in the bottom of the studio after he broke his legs and basically uprooted our house and both of our businesses at the same time, with just getting newly married and a terrible accident. And we're there at this new studio, living in the basement with no shower, no kitchen, all our boxes piled to the ceiling in the basement. A 50-gallon bucket I bought so I could not be a burden on my friends and not have to go to the gym to take a shower.
About that time, a man that we went to church with offered us a house in Big Rapids.
And Josh really wanted to move out to Big Rapids, and I really didn't want to move out to Big Rapids. It's a beautiful town and there's nothing wrong with it, and the people are friendly. I just couldn't see how it was going to benefit my end of the deal, and with my business being 20 some years in Rockford. So I gave him a little hard time about it, saying I didn't really want to do it, and he said, well, you can stay here and be homeless. I'm gonna go ahead and move out. At that time, I just stood there, and after he had left, and I just stood there and wondered, God, why didn't you change his mind? I really felt humbled and to the point of humility, and didn't see that there was any other reason to go further with the process of chopping off my branches.
He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful.
And at that moment, I made a statement, and it had to be the Lord prompting me to say it, because I said, all my branches are gone, all I have left is my head. And at that moment, my angel fell off the counter and its head rolled. Its head broke off and it rolled across the floor. And there was a song playing on the radio called When He Moves, You Move, When He Leads, You Follow, is playing on the radio. And at that moment, like, you could not put that together as perfect as God did, with Josh saying, well, I'm gonna move out and you can stay here. and when he moves, you move. When he leads, you follow. So that was the beginning of me moving to Big Rapids. Josh totally led in that, and he was a delivery system for me to get me to move. God knew that there's no way I would leave Rockford ever, most likely. So God had to use eagle's wings to get me to move to Big Rapids, and that's what it took. So once we did move to Big Rapids, I still had a lot of questions to God. And why did you move me out here? What am I supposed to do? And it occurred to me that I needed to start to reach out to other people and try to make a life here. So I decided one day to make an office inside my house and see if I could rearrange some things, and I was looking for a shelf, so I decided to go ahead and go to Goodwill and see if they had shelves. And I went to the back of the store, and lo and behold, on the back wall there's an antique picture frame, and inside that picture frame there is a business card of mine. And it was a business card from about 20 years ago when I first started my business, when I very first moved into Rockford. And this business card was in the picture frame, and all I heard at that moment was these words. There was a woman, Marcia Jackson. She owned our Best to You Victorian store, and I heard her voice. She said these words: "Give me some of your business cards and I'll put them in every picture frame I sell, and I will help you promote your business." And the words I heard as I looked in that picture frame was the words from the Lord: "I will help you promote your business." That's what I heard. It was almost prophetic, and a voice from the past that came into my spirit let me know that the Lord orchestrated that moment and connected the dots and used somebody from my past to speak into my ear that moment. And I believe that's a legacy and how we can influence other people too. Another interesting thing happened to ease my mind and let me know God's with me. I took my dog, Mercy Dog, to the veterinary's office for his grooming appointment. And they said, you can pick him up in about an hour. So I went downtown and decided to go ahead and visit the Chamber of Commerce. They told me I should go down to the visitor center. So I went downstairs to the visitor center, and as I opened the door, I was announced, and it was really awesome. Rob Pulver from Rockford Advertising just happened to be there that day and was talking to the visitor center. And as I walked through the door, I heard the words, "This is Michelle Wise from Wise Photography. She is highly recommended, and here's her portfolio." And he starts flipping through the pages and pages and pages. I had worked for 15 years for that magazine, and there would be no one better to introduce me to somebody in a new town than the one who held the portfolio of mine. So that's God. That is totally God. I jumped up and down. I just couldn't believe it. It was so cool. And how God will help you promote your business. I visited a local church one day, and I put my name in the offering plate as a visitor. And I got a phone call several days later from a man that owned the local studio, Andrews Photography Studio. And he invited me into his business, and he asked if I would like to purchase the business. And I said, "With what? I have no clients here." And he said, "Well, I just wanted to retire. If you could just take over the payments on this building," and he would give me the clientele to pay off the building. And before you know it, I have a place to work in Big Rapids. Now, how big is God? Little did I know that just around the corner, Josh was going to pass away, and my life was going to get rocked for several more years. And I really thought that we had suffered to the point of almost going nuts, I felt sometimes. And here I was at this point, coming out of disaster and then thrown right back into it. It was like a refiner's fire.
In all this you greatly rejoice, though now, for a little while, you may have had to suffer grief in all kinds of trials. These have come so that the proven genuineness of your faith, of greater worth than gold, which perishes even though refined by fire, may result in praise, glory, and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed.
So the night Josh passed away, I woke up in the middle of the night. I had this experience where I was in the presence of God and looking down at my bedroom, thinking to myself, why does that woman have to suffer like that? And I don't know how long I was there, but a couple minutes later, I was back inside my body, I guess. And then everything seemed so unreal compared to where I was at. And I kept thinking about, I couldn't stop thinking about something awesome's going to happen. Something awesome's going to happen. It's like that moment where I was almost in the presence of God or almost in heaven, and it didn't leave me. And I couldn't explain it, and no one could ever understand it. And for 4 days, I really didn't know what happened. And it was hard to connect with grief. Is just a crazy thing. It's like, in order to, at moments, I would be clear, and at moments, I couldn't even put my toothpaste on the toothbrush. It was hard to think about picking up the toothbrush and then squeezing the toothpaste tube and then putting the toothbrush in my mouth. And then it's like, just to feel normal, I, even if I didn't want to, and I would just brew a cup of coffee and pretend like nothing happened. And you try to talk yourself out of that person's not here anymore, but you can't handle that. So you just go into this other mode, and every breath is hard to take. And I understand pain. I understand it. And God, bless and protect these people out here that are going through this kind of pain.